Life is a journey, and for many of us, that journey is far from smooth. We all face struggles, some big, some small, some visible to the world, others hidden deep inside. And it's important to acknowledge that these struggles are real. They don't disappear just because we want them to, and they don't get solved overnight. Some of you may be facing financial hardship, battling health issues, or carrying the weight of a broken relationship. Others might be dealing with deep personal fears, insecurities, or the scars of a painful past. Whatever your struggle may be, it's okay to admit that it's there. It's okay to say, this is hard, I don't know if I can do it. There's strength in acknowledging your struggle, because pretending it doesn't exist only makes it more powerful. And too often we feel we need to hide our pain, to act like everything is fine when it's not. We wear these invisible masks, trying to convince the world that we've got it all together when inside we're falling apart. But the truth is, we all have something we're struggling with. You see, acknowledging the struggle isn't about dwelling on it, but about giving yourself permission to feel what you feel. It's about accepting that you are human and that life doesn't always go according to plan. But that doesn't mean you're defeated. It just means you're in the process of living. And in this process, you're not alone. Every person in this room, whether they're standing tall or barely keeping it together, is carrying something with them. So don't minimize your pain. Don't downplay your journey. It's real and it matters. You might be facing a struggle right now that seems like it's bigger than you, that it's too much to carry. Maybe you've been fighting for so long that you've started to believe that this is just the way life is supposed to be. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be this way. Acknowledging your struggle is the first step in realizing that it's not permanent. You have the power to rise above it. But first you have to admit that it's there and give yourself permission to feel it. Only then can you begin to break free. Before we can move forward, we first have to look inward. Many of us spend so much time focusing on external factors, on the people around us, the circumstances we can't control, the things that seem to be keeping us from where we want to be, that we forget the most important thing: we have to start with ourselves. Self-awareness is the foundation of true freedom. It's about getting real with yourself, about recognizing not just what's happening around you, but what's happening within you. What are the fears that keep you up at night? What are the insecurities that cause you to second-guess your decisions or hesitate when opportunity knocks? What are the habits or mindsets that you've allowed to define you, even if they no longer serve you? Without self-awareness, we're walking through life with blinders on, reacting to things rather than responding intentionally. It's easy to blame the world, to point fingers, and to say that it's the economy or our upbringing or the people in our lives that are holding us back. But in reality, the first place we must look is within. Self-awareness means taking a hard, honest look at your own role in your struggles. It means acknowledging the ways you may be standing in your own way. Are you afraid of success? Are you afraid of failure? Do you sabotage yourself with negative thinking or procrastination? Are you repeating patterns that you know are unhealthy, but you haven't been willing to face the truth about them? Yeah. This step requires courage, because sometimes the things we uncover are not easy to face. But it's important to understand that self-awareness is not about self-criticism, it's about self-recognition. It's about shining a light on those parts of ourselves that we've been hiding from or running from or denying for so long. When we start to recognize the things that have been holding us back internally, whether it's fear, doubt, unresolved pain, or limiting beliefs, we can begin to dismantle them. Self-awareness is not about perfection. It's not about being able to immediately fix everything you see. It's about starting the process of understanding, of being honest with yourself about who you are and where you are in your life. It's the moment you stop pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's the moment you acknowledge the areas where you need growth and give yourself permission to change. When we have the courage to be honest with ourselves, we begin to see the patterns and behaviors that have been keeping us stuck. And once we see them, we can choose to change them. That is the power of self-awareness, the ability to face the truth, no matter how difficult it may be, and to take responsibility for our own growth. It is the gateway to true transformation. One of the most powerful truths we can embrace in our journey to freedom is the realization that we don't have to carry the weight of generations before us. Too often, we inherit more than just physical traits or family heirlooms. We inherit the emotional, psychological, and spiritual baggage that gets passed down through the years. We inherit patterns of behavior, beliefs, fears, and wounds that were never dealt with, and those chains become a part of us. But here's the truth: those chains don't define us. Generational chains are like invisible shackles. They show up in the way we think, the choices we make, and the way we see the world. Maybe you grew up in a home where love was conditional, where you were told that you weren't good enough, or that you had to be perfect to be accepted. Perhaps addiction, abuse, or financial instability was a constant theme in your family, and you found yourself repeating those same struggles, even though you swore you'd never let it happen. For some, it's the burden of silence growing up in a family where emotions weren't discussed, where pain was hidden, and healing was never pursued. We may not always realize it, but these generational patterns shape how we show up in the world today. They influence how we handle conflict, how we form relationships, how we cope with stress, and how we define success. The beliefs we were taught, the things we witnessed growing up, and the emotional wounds we've inherited, whether we realize it or not, become the lens through which we view ourselves and the world around us. But breaking generational chains means understanding that just because something has been a part of your family history, it doesn't have to be a part of your future. It means making a conscious decision to interrupt the cycle, to say, this ends with me. It requires acknowledging the wounds that have been passed down, no matter how uncomfortable that might be. It means doing the hard work of confronting the things that have been normalized in your family, the things that are holding you back and choosing a different path. This process is not easy, and it's often painful because it means looking directly at the toxic behaviors, beliefs, and patterns that you've inherited. But it also means giving yourself permission to break free. You don't have to carry the weight of your ancestors' mistakes or dysfunctions. You don't have to be bound by the limitations that were placed on you or your family members long before you were born. I think about it for a moment. Every step you take to break free from these generational chains is a step that creates a new legacy for the next generation. You are planting seeds for a future that doesn't have to repeat the mistakes of the past. When you choose healing, you not only heal yourself, but you also begin the process of healing your family, your community, and even your descendants. Breaking generational chains is about rewriting your story. It's about recognizing that the past doesn't have to dictate your future. You are the one who gets to decide how your narrative unfolds, and the choices you make today can break chains that have held entire families captive for generations. This journey requires strength, resilience, and a commitment to doing the inner work. It means confronting the lies you've been told and replacing them with the truth of who you truly are. It's about choosing to be the change in your bloodline, to redefine what's possible, and to set a new course for your life. For so many of us, there is an unspoken belief that we need someone else's approval to step into our greatness, to pursue our dreams, or even to be our authentic selves. We wait for the world to tell us, it's okay, now you can go. We wait for validation, for the green light, for someone to give us the permission we think we need to move forward. But what I'm here to tell you tonight is that the permission you're waiting for is already within you. Too often we spend our lives looking to others for approval. We look to our parents, our friends, our mentors, and even society at large, hoping that someone will tell us that it's okay to dream big, to take risks, or to make a change. We feel like we need permission to break free from the limitations imposed upon us, whether those limitations are imposed by others or by ourselves. But the truth is, no one else has the power to grant you freedom. Only you do. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that there's a right way, a perfect way to live. That we must follow a prescribed path, get the degree, get the job, get married, buy the house, and only then can we think about pursuing what we're passionate about or stepping outside the box. We're told that if we step off that path, we're somehow going against the grain, that we're making a mistake, that we might fail. So we wait, we hold off on our dreams, our ideas, our desires, because we're waiting for someone else to tell us, go ahead. But here's the harsh reality: you may never get that permission. The truth is, most of the time, the permission you seek won't come from anyone other than yourself. And if you're waiting for others to give you the green light, you could be waiting forever. There will always be people who don't understand your vision, who don't see your worth, who don't believe in your dreams. And if you're looking for them to approve of what you want to do, you'll always be waiting in vain. Waiting for permission can keep you stuck. It keeps you paralyzed in fear, hoping for external validation that might never come. You might even convince yourself that you're not ready, that you need more time, more preparation, or more resources before you take that leap. But here's the truth: you'll never feel fully ready. Life doesn't work like that. We can't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect set of circumstances. Life doesn't give you permission, it gives you choices, and it's up to you to make the decision to move forward. Think about the people you admire, those who've achieved greatness, those who've carved their own path. I guarantee you, they didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for anyone to tell them they were good enough or that it was time. They took action. They moved when they felt the pull. They trusted their instincts and they created opportunities. They didn't wait for external validation. They found it within themselves. And that's the key. You are the one you've been waiting for. You have the power within you to start now, to move forward and to take control of your future. You don't need anyone to tell you that you can do it. You don't need anyone to give you the green light. If you've got a vision, if you've got a dream, if you've got a purpose inside of you that you know you're meant to fulfill, then it's time to take that first step, even if it feels scary. Waiting for permission is a form of self-doubt. It's a way of giving away your power, of placing the responsibility for your success in someone else's hands. But you are the one who holds the key to your own future. You get to decide whether or not you'll move forward. You get to decide whether or not you'll go after what you truly want without waiting for anyone to give you the okay. The reality is the world will not always validate your choices, and sometimes it may even try to discourage you, but that doesn't matter. What matters is your belief in yourself, your willingness to trust your own journey, and your courage to take the first step. You don't need anyone's approval, because the only approval that matters is your own. The time to act is now. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Give yourself permission to step into your power, to pursue what makes your soul come alive, and to go after the life you were meant to live. You don't need anyone else's approval. What you need is to trust yourself and take that leap. Pain is a universal experience. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about your status, your age, your gender, or your race. Pain comes for us all. And when it does, it often feels like a heavy weight that we can't escape. It can be physical, emotional, or spiritual, but whatever form it takes, pain has the power to shake us to our core. It can make us question everything we thought we knew about ourselves and the world around us. It can make us feel lost, hopeless, and small. And in those moments, it's easy to believe that pain is just something to endure, something to survive. But here's the truth: pain can be more than just a burden. It can be a tool. It can be a catalyst for growth. It can be the fire that fuels your purpose. Turning pain into purpose is not about ignoring the hurt or pretending that everything is okay. It's not about pushing your pain down or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging it, understanding it, and using it as a source of strength and inspiration to fuel your journey forward. When we experience pain, especially deep emotional pain, it often feels like it will never end. We think, how can I move forward? How can I possibly turn this hurt into something good? The answer doesn't come overnight, and it's not always easy. But pain, when processed and understood, has the power to shape us. It can teach us things about ourselves that we may never have learned otherwise. It can show us our resilience, our capacity for compassion, and our ability to rise above our circumstances. For some of us, pain reveals our deepest passions. Think about the times when you faced hardship, whether it was the loss of a loved one, a breakup, an illness, or a failure. In the aftermath of that pain, many of us experience a shift in perspective. We begin to see the world differently. We begin to care more deeply about things we might have overlooked before. We start asking bigger questions about life, about purpose, about why we're here. That's where purpose starts to emerge from the ashes of pain. When you go through something that breaks you, when you face a challenge that seems impossible, you often come out on the other side with a new sense of understanding. You begin to realize that the pain wasn't just a random event. It was a turning point. It was a moment that, although difficult, provided you with lessons that you needed to learn in order to fulfill your purpose. Turning pain into purpose requires a shift in mindset. It means reframing your pain not as something that happened to you, but as something that happened for you. The pain you've experienced, the suffering you've endured, the heartbreak you faced, these are the things that have prepared you for the work you are meant to do. They have shaped your character, your perspective, and your compassion. And that pain can be used to help others who are walking the same path. When you turn your pain into purpose, you begin to see that it's not wasted. It becomes part of your story, part of the foundation upon which you build the life you are meant to create. You use it to fuel your mission to serve others and to make an impact. You don't just survive your pain, you let it propel you toward the life you were meant to lead. Your experiences, no matter how painful, become the tools you use to create something greater than yourself. In the end, pain can be a powerful teacher. It shows us what we're made of. It pushes us to discover strengths we didn't know we had. And when we embrace that pain, when we allow ourselves to process and learn from it, it can reveal a deeper purpose, a purpose that is not just about our own healing, but about the healing of others. Pain in this light becomes the seed from which your greatest potential can grow. It's the fire that refines you, the challenge that pushes you, the experience that inspires you to help others who may be facing the same battle. So turning pain into purpose isn't about denying the pain or pretending it didn't affect you. It's about acknowledging its power, processing it, and using it as fuel to move forward, to grow, and to give back. When you do this, your pain will no longer define you. Instead, you will redefine your pain, turning it into something that drives you toward your highest calling. Fear of failure is one of the most paralyzing forces that we face in life. It's the silent voice in the back of our heads that whispers, "What if you fall short?" It's the weight that makes us hesitate at the edge of our dreams, the barrier that keeps us from stepping into the life we know we are meant to live. And for many of us, this fear is so deep, so ingrained, that we often avoid taking risks altogether. We let it stop us before we even begin. But here's the truth: failure is not the enemy, it is part of the journey to success. The fear of failure is rooted in so many things: past experiences, societal expectations, the pressure to be perfect. We've all heard the stories of success, the ones where people made it look easy, where they nailed it on the first try. But those stories often leave out the most important part: the struggle, the setbacks, the moments of doubt. What we don't see are the countless failures that came before the success. What we don't see are the doors that were slammed in their faces, the mistakes they made, the opportunities they missed. Failure is not the exception to success, it is a prerequisite. For most of us, the fear of failure holds us back because we've been taught that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. We fear the judgment, the disappointment, the shame that comes with falling short. We tell ourselves that if we fail, we're not good enough, not worthy, not capable. And because we fear what others might think, or worse, what we might think about ourselves, we stay stuck. We don't take chances. We don't try new things. We stay in the safe zone, hoping that by avoiding failure, we can somehow protect ourselves from pain. But avoiding failure doesn't protect us, it prevents growth. Failure is the soil in which success grows. When we fail, we are given a chance to learn, to adjust, to rise again. We learn what works and what doesn't. We get clearer on what we really want. We build resilience, confidence, and wisdom through the experiences that didn't go as planned. Every failure is a lesson, a step forward, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. And the more we allow ourselves to fail, the more we train ourselves to keep going, no matter how many times we fall. The fear of failure also holds us back because it's tied to our identity. We tend to equate failure with our worth. If I fail, then I am a failure, but this is one of the biggest misconceptions we have about failure. Failure is an event, not an identity. Failing at something doesn't make you a failure, it makes you someone who tried. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who avoided failure, they are the ones who learned how to fail forward, to keep moving even when things didn't go according to plan. Overcoming the fear of failure begins with reframing our entire approach to failure. Instead of seeing it as something to be feared or avoided, we need to see it as a tool, a necessary step in the process of growth. Think about the times you've grown the most in your life. Weren't they often the times when things didn't go as you expected? When you failed, did you not learn something invaluable from that experience? Did you not come out on the other side stronger, wiser, more prepared? Failure teaches us humility, patience, and perseverance. It teaches us that success isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's about trying, failing, learning, and trying again. It's about the courage to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. And when we can accept that failure as part of the process, we can start to embrace it as an ally rather than an enemy. The fear of failure also comes from the need for control. We want to be in charge of the outcome. We want to know that when we put in the effort, the result will match our expectations. But life is unpredictable, and sometimes, no matter how hard we try, things don't go the way we hoped. The key is learning to release that need for control. We can't control everything, but we can control how we respond to failure. We can choose to let it define us or to let it refine us. The choice is ours. When you step into the unknown, when you take risks and pursue your dreams, you open yourself up to failure. But you also open yourself up to growth, to opportunities, and to breakthroughs that you never imagined possible. Failure will come, it's part of the equation. But it does not have to paralyze you. In fact, it should propel you forward. Every time you get up after a fall, you become stronger, more resilient, more capable. And here's the most important lesson: you are not defined by your failures. What defines you is how you choose to respond to them. Will you let the fear of failure keep you small, or will you embrace failure as a stepping stone on your path to greatness? Will you let failure stop you, or will you rise again more determined, more focused, and more passionate than ever before? The only true failure in life is giving up, so keep moving, keep striving. And above all, keep believing that your best is still ahead of you. Forgiveness is one of the most profound and transformative acts a person can experience. It's a force that has the ability to heal wounds, break cycles of pain, and set people free. Yet for many of us, forgiveness feels like one of the hardest things to give, whether it's forgiving someone who has hurt us deeply or even forgiving ourselves for mistakes we've made. We often hold on to resentment, anger, and bitterness because it feels like we're in control, like we're protecting ourselves from further harm. But in reality, the longer we hold on to unforgiveness, the more we imprison ourselves. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior or forgetting what happened. It's not about saying that the hurt wasn't real or that the pain didn't matter. Forgiveness is about choosing to release the grip that anger and resentment have over us. It's about saying, I'm no longer willing to let what happened control my present or my future. It's an act of liberation, a decision to stop carrying the weight of past wrongs so that we can move forward in peace. The truth is, forgiveness is often misunderstood. We think that when we forgive someone, we are letting them off the hook, that we're excusing their actions, or that we're somehow weak for allowing them back into our hearts. But forgiveness isn't about them, it's about you. It's about your own healing. It's about giving yourself the freedom to live without the chains of resentment holding you back. When you choose to forgive, you reclaim your power. You let go of the negative energy that was poisoning your peace of mind, and you create space for love, compassion, and joy to flow into your life. Forgiving others doesn't mean we tolerate abuse, mistreatment, or injustice. Forgiveness is not about saying what was done to you was okay. It's about choosing not to let it define you. It's about recognizing that the past is behind you and that you deserve to step forward into a future where you are no longer bound by the actions of others. Forgiveness allows you to break free from the past and take back your peace. For some of us, the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We can forgive others for their wrongdoings, but when it comes to our own mistakes, the guilt and shame can be overwhelming. We might replay our failures over and over in our minds, unable to let go of the hurt we've caused or the choices we regret. But the truth is, holding on to that self-blame doesn't serve us. It doesn't change the past, and it certainly doesn't make us better people. Forgiveness is an act of self-compassion. It's the ability to recognize that we too are human, that we too make mistakes, but we are still worthy of love, peace, and a second chance. When we forgive ourselves, we stop punishing ourselves for things we cannot change. We let go of the need for perfection and the shame that comes with our imperfections. We learn to be kinder to ourselves, to understand that we are not defined by our mistakes. And in doing so, we open the door to growth, healing, and transformation. Forgiving yourself is the first step toward becoming the person you're meant to be. One of the most powerful aspects of forgiveness is its ability to transform relationships. When we forgive others, we heal the wounds between us. We break down the walls of bitterness and anger that keep us distant, and we create space for understanding, compassion, and love to grow. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it means learning to let go of the need for reconciliation and choosing peace over conflict. But it always means choosing to let go of the past so that we can build something better in the present. Forgiveness also brings freedom. When we hold on to grudges, we give the person who hurt us control over our emotions, over our peace of mind. They continue to have power over us, even if they've long since moved on. But when we forgive, we take back our power. We stop letting the pain they cause define our lives. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the prison of resentment and sets us free. There is a deep spiritual and emotional power in forgiveness. It's not just about being magnanimous or moral, it's about healing. It's about freeing ourselves from the toxic emotions that weigh us down. When we forgive, we allow ourselves to heal, and in that healing, we become better, stronger, and more resilient. Forgiveness has the power to release us from anger, to soften our hearts, and to make us whole again. Forgiveness is also a practice. It's not something we do once and forget about. It's a muscle we must exercise regularly. There will be times when we need to forgive ourselves, and there will be times when we need to forgive others. Sometimes forgiveness comes easily, and other times it feels like an impossible task. But the more we practice forgiveness, the more natural it becomes. It becomes a habit of the heart, a way of living that allows us to be more compassionate, more loving, and more at peace with ourselves and others. When we forgive, we are not just releasing someone else from the burden of their actions. We are freeing ourselves from the chains of resentment, bitterness, and anger. We are opening our hearts to the possibility of healing, of growth, and of new beginnings. Forgiveness gives us the power to transform pain into peace, bitterness into love, and fear into freedom. It is the most courageous thing we can do, not just for others, but for ourselves. And in choosing to forgive, we step into a new chapter of our lives, one where we are no longer defined by the hurt we've carried, but by the healing we've chosen. Faith and belief are two of the most powerful forces that drive us forward in life. They shape our actions, our decisions, and our view of the world. Faith is the trust we have in the unseen, the confidence that things will work out even when we can't see how. It's the assurance that despite the challenges, setbacks, and obstacles, there is a higher plan at work. Belief, on the other hand, is the internal conviction that we are capable, that we deserve happiness, and that we have the power to create the life we want. Together, faith and belief form a foundation that sustains us in the toughest times and propels us toward the best versions of ourselves. Faith is not just about religion, it's a mindset. It's the ability to trust in something greater than ourselves, whether it's a higher power, the universe, or simply the belief that the best is yet to come. Faith is what keeps us going when the road is unclear, when we're uncertain about the future, or when our dreams seem out of reach. It's that deep, quiet knowing that we're not alone, that there is a force beyond our understanding guiding us toward our destiny. Without faith, we're left to navigate life by our own limited understanding, which often leads to doubt, fear, and confusion. Faith allows us to surrender the need for complete control and embrace uncertainty. It's about believing that even when things don't make sense in the moment, they will eventually fall into place. Faith teaches us to trust the timing of our lives, even when it seems like nothing is happening. It helps us keep moving forward, even when the path is difficult and the destination is unclear. But faith doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Faith is active. It requires us to take steps, to make decisions, to move in the direction of our dreams, even when we don't have all the answers. It's about believing that our efforts, no matter how small, are being supported by something bigger. Faith is what drives us to push past our doubts, to face our fears, and to keep moving even when it feels like we're getting nowhere. Faith gives us the courage to act in the face of uncertainty, to trust that our efforts will eventually bear fruit. Belief, like faith, is a powerful force. Belief is the conviction that we are worthy of success, happiness, and love. It's the belief that we have the ability to overcome obstacles, to grow, and to create the life we envision for ourselves. Without belief in ourselves, we will never have the strength to take the risks or make the changes that are necessary for growth. Belief is the inner fuel that pushes us to keep going when we feel like giving up. It's the voice inside that says, yes, you can do this, even when everyone around us doubts our potential. The power of belief is often underestimated. We think that success is about talent, luck, or circumstance, but in reality, belief is often the determining factor between those who succeed and those who give up. People who believe in themselves are more likely to take the risks, make the sacrifices, and endure the challenges necessary to achieve their goals. They are less likely to be discouraged by setbacks and more likely to persist through adversity. When you believe in yourself, you give yourself permission to fail, to learn, and to keep growing. You free yourself from the fear of rejection and criticism because you know your worth doesn't depend on external validation. Faith and belief are deeply interconnected. Faith gives us the foundation upon which our beliefs are built. When we have faith in something greater than ourselves, we can more easily believe in our own potential. And when we believe in our potential, we deepen our faith in the process of life. They feed each other, creating a cycle of strength, hope, and perseverance. Faith can help us believe in the impossible, while belief makes it possible to take the steps required to make it real. However, belief is not something we are born with. It is cultivated over time. It is developed through experiences, through overcoming challenges, and through the process of self-discovery. When we face challenges and emerge victorious, our belief in ourselves grows stronger. Every time we push through fear or uncertainty, we reinforce the belief that we are capable of more than we realize. Belief also grows through self-reflection and positive affirmation. When we take time to acknowledge our achievements, no matter how small, we build the confidence to tackle bigger obstacles. Belief also influences our interactions with others. When we believe in ourselves, we project that energy outward. People who believe in themselves are magnetic. They inspire others to believe in them too. Belief in our abilities can be contagious. It gives those around us permission to believe in their own potential. And that belief in others creates a ripple effect, one that spreads hope, inspiration, and empowerment wherever we go. But belief, like faith, is also tested. Life has a way of challenging both. There will be times when everything seems to go wrong, when our dreams feel out of reach, or when we face failure after failure. These moments can shake our belief and make us question everything we thought we knew. But it is precisely in these moments that our faith and belief are most needed. They are the anchors that hold us steady in the storm. When we believe in ourselves, even in the face of adversity, we are demonstrating a deep trust in the process of life. When we have faith, we know that everything, even the challenges, is a part of our growth. Faith and belief also allow us to forgive, let go of resentment, and heal from past wounds. When we have faith in the possibility of change, we can believe that things can get better. When we believe in the power of transformation, we are willing to release the past and move forward with hope. Faith and belief open the doors to possibilities that we might never have considered before. They help us see beyond the limitations of our current reality to a future that is filled with opportunity, growth, and potential. Faith and belief are powerful tools that shape our destinies. When we align them with action, they become unstoppable. They empower us to face the challenges of life with courage, to rise above setbacks, and to keep pushing forward toward our goals. When we have faith in ourselves and belief in a higher purpose, we are unstoppable forces of transformation.